5.1 Basic Concepts of Probability, Video 6. So if we're going to analyze probability of experiments, we need to construct what are called probability models for these experiments. And all a probability model does is list every outcome in the sample space and the probability of each outcome occurring. Now some of them are pretty simple. We'll get to this experiment in just a second where we choose a letter at random from the word Arkansas. But let's say that you want to flip a coin and you want to know what its model is. We can make a table that lists two things. The outcome, it might help if I space this out better, and its probability. Well, if I flip a coin, there's only two outcomes. Either it's heads or it's tails. And we already determined that the probability of flipping heads is 50%, and it shouldn't surprise you that the probability of tails is also 50%. So that's an example of a probability model. List every outcome and the probability of those outcomes occurring. But let's try one different. Let's say that we're going to pick a letter at random from the word Arkansas. Now when I say at random, imagine that we write each of these 8 letters on a piece of paper and put them in a box. We shake it up, and then we reach into the box and pull out one of the letters. So, what would the probability of each letter be? Well, if we're going to build a model for this, we need to list all the outcomes and their probabilities. Even though Arkansas has 8 letters in it, it doesn't have 8 unique letters. There's an A, there's an R, there's a K, already got A, there's an N, there's an S, and we've already got A and S. So now that we know the different outcomes, we just need to list calculate the probability of each one occurring. What do you think the probability of selecting an A out of the word Arkansas is? Think about it. There's 8 letters in Arkansas, and 3 of them are A's. So it would stand to reason that the probability is 3 out of 8. If you were to turn this into a percent or a decimal, it would be 0.375. Either of those answers are acceptable, or if you wanted to, you could say 37.5%. What about the letter R? Well, out of the 8 letters, only one of them is R. And 1 out of 8 is 0.125. So as a decimal, 12.5%. Pause the video and see if you can complete the rest of the probability model for this experiment. I would go ahead and calculate the fractions, their decimal equivalents, and then convert them to percents. All right. Hopefully you paused the video and tried to complete the rest of the table on your own. For the outcome K, it's going to be the same as for the outcome R. Why? Because each one of those only shows up once. So the probability of selecting K is 1 out of 8, which is still 0.125, which is still 12.5%. And the same thing for the N. There's only one N in the word Arkansas. And so its probability will also be 1/8, or 0.125, or 12.5%. As for the S, well, there's 2 of them. So 2 out of 8, which is exactly 0.25 as a decimal, and as a percent is 25%. And that's the probability model for this experiment of choosing a letter from the word Arkansas. Question: without actually doing the math, what do you think these percents add up to? Think about it.